Welcome to Sweethearts or Rivals. I'm Charlotte.
I'm Justin.
What's on our table today?
Darkest Night.
Darkest Night. It's by Victory Point Games.
Yep.
They recommend ages 13 and up. It can take you about 150 minutes or longer. And you can play it solo or you can play up to 4 players. There's also a way you can play it with more than 4 if someone runs the Necromancer.
Yeah, there's a couple of variants. Nice. Right on. So, I've played this game several times, more than Charlotte has.
Yes.
So instead of doing a full review, we thought we'd just do our impressions of Darkest Night.
We have done a full playthrough.
Yep.
And we just played with the base game.
Yeah.
But we do have the first expansion.
With an Inner Light.
And that adds some more characters.
4 more characters, as well as a series of quests. So every now and then these little quest cards will pop up on the board, and then you've got so long to go complete that quest for a reward or something bad happens, which adds a little bit more kind of flavor to the game.
Right, so if you've played this game a lot and you're kind of stale on it, then it would give it a change up for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Right on. So, Darkest Night. What do you think?
This game for me has too many pieces moving on it, and there's a lot to keep track of.
Yeah.
And oftentimes, like you said, I haven't played it that many times, but when I do play it, I really feel like I kind of don't have any idea what's going on. And that's why we can't review this game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if the rules are fiddly, but there's a lot of situations where you're not sure what the answer is, and the rules aren't intuitive. So not so much as that there's like a ton of rules.
No, but
there's just so many situations where like, I don't really know. And you look in the rule book, because you have to look in the rule book, and sometimes you get the answer, sometimes you don't. So that's kind of a pain.
Well, there's just so many steps to everything.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many steps to when the Necromancer has to go.
Yeah.
And then even our turns, like, you only get one action, but so many things have to happen even before your turn can start. Like,
yeah. And I think if a big part of that is if the flow of your turn switched around, so the very first thing you did was your action, the rest of it would be cleanup and wouldn't seem as bad. But when it's your turn, you want to do your action. You just want to jump right into that action. No, whoa. Is the Necromancer there? Do you have this? Well, now I have to do this. Now I have to have an event. Now I gotta do this. Now I gotta do this. Okay, now take your action. Like, it's just, I don't think there's too many things. I think there are too many things. But I don't think it's overwhelming. I just think the fact that most of them come before you actually get to take your turn makes it like you're constantly backing up to do the things you forgot because you just really want to take your turn. Yeah, so that's kind of a bummer as well.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, on top of that, it's repetitive because everything is the same thing.
Yeah.
And when you finally do get to take your turn, a lot of the times you're moving around, kind of positioning yourself in order to do something. So it takes several turns to actually do something, which is also a bummer.
See, I think the thing for me is you've got to play this game a lot to be good at it.
Yeah.
But in order to play the game a lot, you have to really want to play the game a lot. But because the game has so many things to do in it, I don't want to play the game a lot. So I'm not even getting better at the game because I'm not getting the experience with the game.
Yeah.
So therein lies my problem.
Yeah.
For trying to get better at the game.
Yeah.
And there's so many cool things that you could do, like once you've played a few more times, like you would maybe not have all the blights on the board by the end of the game. And maybe you would have some artifacts that do really cool things. But I found just trying to keep up with all the blights and trying to organize your turns and then even the cards that you have on the board, like, there's so many cards that you have, and they all do different things, and you have to be really familiar with those cards. There's just, there's cool things that can happen in the game, but I'm not good enough at the game to ever see those cool things happen.
Yeah. Another negative is the game takes a very long time to play.
We don't have to say a negative because this isn't a review. It's just our impressions.
Well, another negative impression is that it takes too long to play. There should be some way to tighten up things. If you didn't have to spend so many of your turns just positioning yourself to try to do something and then fail, you could feel like you could do more, but it doesn't. It takes forever, and so you got to do all those procedures. So that's unfortunate. A positive for the game is you start off the game feeling like you're not going to win, which is actually a good thing.
Well, because it goes exactly with the theme of the game. Yeah. That's what the theme is.
Everything feels dire, which really can add a lot of tension, which is a good thing, because that's what this game is supposed to do. So it does that really well. Oh,
yeah. It's called The Darkest Night.
Yeah.
That means it's dire. It's the darkest night in the whole entire world.
And it does that really well.
Yes. Yeah. For sure.
Another thing that would cut down on having to manage all the moving bits is if you played it with the full complement of 4 players, because then you only have to manage your single character. That would really help, and everyone can keep an eye on just the one character that they can do and say, oh, by the way, this. That would help manage a lot of that as well.
And even someone to play the Necromancer and run just the Necromancer in their turn. Yeah. That would also be another bonus to not make you feel a little bit overwhelmed during the game. Yeah.
And finally, the thing is you need to have the kind of group where you have 4 or 5 people who are sitting around this, and they're looking at it like this great tactical puzzle that they're trying to figure out, because that's what it is, and they're going to really enjoy that. So if you really like cooperative games, and you want a cooperative game that's fantasy and characters leveling up, but is very dire and takes a long time to play, this might be for you.
It's true. Yeah. And even cooperative games sometimes get an alpha gamer or leader. Yep. I think that's okay with this game, because there are some points of the game, I think, if you're not as experienced with the gameplay and the game itself, if there's that one person that is, it's nice that they can help you out, because that's going to make your game, I think, in my experience, for my own personal self, I have to, that would make the game more of a better experience for me. Yeah. Just because to actually keep trying all these things and not really knowing what the best move is. Sure. And then, like you said, you fail or you make a mistake, and it really sets you back a long ways. Yep. Yeah. So I wouldn't even mind an alpha leader when I was playing this game.
And if you had a group that had an alpha leader, and the group was all invested in the game, so they didn't want to have the alpha leader, that's when you find someone else to join. So you get 5, and you make the alpha leader the necromancer. And then he can't alpha lead. Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Because he wants to win.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's true.
Another thing that this game does really well is give you these really tense moments where you feel like you are not winning at all. There's no possible chance of winning, and then out of nowhere you can just pull out a win, which go see the playthrough.
As long as you played it right.
Yeah. And that has happened in a number of the games that I've played. And there's 2 ways to win. You either get the necromancer kind of boxed in, and then get 1 relic, and then try to kill all the blights so you can kill him. That's one way you can win. The other way is you find 3 of the relics and just return them to the monastery. I've never done that. I've never seen that in all the times I've played this. It's always been, we're totally overwhelmed.
We're in the weeds. Yeah. We've only got 1 relic. It's going to take forever to get 6 more keys and get 2 relics and get them all the way back to the monastery. Yeah.
We might as well just try this. We're probably going to die horribly.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you do and sometimes you don't. Yeah. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
There are a number of other expansions that add more characters. I don't know if they add extra rules or not, but the one that we have with an Inner Light does add that extra mechanism of there being quests, so more stuff to manage.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. So, Darkest Night. Thanks for watching.
And we'll see you in the next video.
Laters. Yeah, Darkest Night. I don't know if I should have done that. That shouldn't have been an endorsement. You could probably cut that and put a blooper.
You can just, I don't know, you can end the video a different way.